Hi, this is Mike from thesubstream.com, and this is
Ryo.
And this is a review of a movie that we got to see last night called Edge of Darkness, which was directed by Martin Campbell, who most recently directed Casino Royale, the first of the rebooted James Bond movies. An original miniseries that he made in the mid-'80s for the BBC, 6 one-hours, called Edge of Darkness. That's very similar in plot to his film version, the compacted 2-hour version that stars Mel Gibson, and both feature a detective named Tommy Craven. In this case, he's a rough, tough Irish Boston cop whose daughter is killed in what they think is a mistaken assassination attempt on him, and he begins to unravel her life and find out that she was involved with the Department of Defense and a senator. Danny Houston, the guy with the best hairdo ever, who plays the most weaselly bad guys of all time, is in it, and as soon as you see him you think, okay, that's the bad guy, because he's always the bad guy. What did you think of it?
I loved it. I loved seeing Mel Gibson on screen again. It's been too long, and I think when he's not acting, like, he has more freedom to be weird and, you know, get drunk and direct weird, controversial movies. But like, as soon as you give him an acting role, he's on fire. I don't know.
For people that like him, which I don't know many people that don't, because he's really good at what he does, it's a welcome return, because he's playing the exact kind of guy that only he can play as good as he can play it. The avenging, righteous, really pissed off dad. And he has a unique ability to convey being pissed off in a way that makes you feel pissed off for him. Mel Gibson's great at what he's doing, and I'm glad that he's back doing it. And for the most part, the film is a pretty good, I think, political kind of action intrigue thriller. They do a reasonable job for the first two-thirds doing what the best of these movies do, which is have an investigative, detective central figure who drives the plot. There's sufficient convolutions in this thing. It was originally 6 one-hours that have been compacted down to 2, that it could get really confusing, but what they're doing for the first two-thirds is smart in letting him figure it out and reveal it to us, like in this clip.
You know, Detective, a very important part of the Massachusetts economy is research and development.
Senator, I think you're in a position, Senator, regarding Northmore, where you had better decide whether you're hanging on the cross or banging in the nails.
Yeah.
These debts are the result of a conspiracy by one of your major campaign contributors. Oh, I think I'm scaring you, Senator. There's probably not too much upside to scaring a senator, except to provide some perspective. So I'm going to go now, but I'm going to leave you these pictures, and I want you to call everybody involved, everybody concerned, and tell them I know everything I need to know. You investigate this at a national level. You do that, maybe you'll come out of this all right. I don't know. I don't think you knew that the people you were in business with killed my daughter. But now that you do know, what are you going to do about it?
Now, the problem is that they don't really keep that up. And I know you didn't really agree with me about this, but in the last act, for me, I had it absolutely figured out. And I'm not a smart dude. I'm not some kind of savant. I just read a lot of mystery books. And there's scenes in the last third, and there's kind of attempts to do twists, but they're all so foreshadowed so heavily that I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I think that for people that like these kind of mystery movies, that's going to be true as well. It needed to get a little bit more complicated in the last third, and it didn't. And the film also feels, to me, like it's kind of gotten a lot of stuff that's only in the film because it was in the original miniseries, or it would be in the original book if it was made from a book. It's got the feeling of people who are being too precious about the original source material. The detective has all these visions of his daughter after she died that she comes and talks to him, and they don't feel like they fit in the film. They kind of interrupt the flow of it, and you kind of get the real feeling that they're just there because they were in the original, and it's important to maintain that part of the original. I don't think that was unnecessary, and it kind of jumbles up the whole thing. And there's a set of scenes at the beginning of the third act. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it feels tacked on.
The set of 3 or 4 scenes that's so completely, literally baffling, confusing, doesn't seem to make any sense in the actual narrative structure of the film, that it's just like one ugly little lump, like a tumor. We'll talk about that in another video because we can't talk about it without spoiling it. But it doesn't really wreck the film. It just kind of makes it a little bit harder to enjoy. I know you really liked it. So what did you get? What do you give it out of 10?
I loved it. I give it 8.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 6, and our collective score is
7.25 out of 10.
Bye.